Welcome to another deep dive.
Looking forward to this one.
Today, Edmund Kemper. Chilling case.
Definitely a dark one.
He murdered 10 people, including his own family.
Hard to imagine.
We got excerpts from his Wikipedia article and some other sources.
Yeah.
Try to get the full picture, you know.
Makes sense.
And get this, Kemper had an IQ of 145.
Wow. Genius level.
But yeah, he committed horrific acts.
That's the paradox, right?
Exactly. How can someone so smart be so brutal?
It's a question that keeps coming up in these cases.
So we're going to unpack that, the intelligence, the brutality, the whole thing.
I think it's essential to try.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about Kemper either.
Right.
It's about us. What makes us tick? The good, the bad. You know what I mean?
Totally agree. This case can tell us a lot about human nature.
The darkness we all have inside. The warning signs.
How we miss them.
Exactly.
How do we as a society address stuff like this?
Big questions.
Really forces us to look at ourselves, too. Systems we have. Dealing with dangerous people.
Let's start with his childhood. Troubled. Deeply troubled.
Classic starting point, right?
Sadly, yeah. Abusive mother. Domineering.
That leaves its mark.
No kidding. Rejected by both parents, especially after their divorce.
Really isolated.
Sent to live with his grandparents.
He resented.
Yeah. Not a good mix.
Recipe for disaster.
And even as a kid, alarming behaviors. Cruel to animals.
The cats, right.
Yeah. Killing, dismembering them.
Disturbing.
Morbid fantasies, too.
The gas chamber game.
Yeah. Electric chair?
Not normal kid stuff.
Definitely not. A preoccupation with death and violence.
Early warning signs.
And tragically, they were missed.
15 years old.
He murders his grandparents. First murders.
Unbelievable.
Shot his grandmother.
Well.
After an argument. Then the grandfather.
To prevent his anger.
Chilling. Right.
So chilling. Just want to see what it felt like to kill Grandma. His words.
That really gets to you.
It does.
The disconnect, I mean. No remorse, no consequence.
Yeah, so young, too. How could someone so young be so detached from, taking a life?
Paranoid schizophrenia. That was the diagnosis. A test could
The hospital, right.
Right.
But then deemed rehabilitated.
And released.
That's where things get really scary. The system. Failing, maybe?
It makes you think. How could someone who did that be rehabilitated? So young, too.
Big questions. Were they even looking for genuine change? Or just a reason to, close the case?
Hard to say.
It really casts a shadow, doesn't it, over everything that came after?
It does. So he's released?
Yeah.
Seems to be adjusting. College, jobs, normal life.
On the surface, at least.
Right. But things weren't right. Not really.
Okay.
Toxic relationship. Still.
Crucial piece of the puzzle, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Like an open wound.
Festering, poisoning everything. Even though he tried to move on, it was still there. The conflict, the rage.
Early childhood trauma, how it can linger, shape a person's life, even years later.
Powerful force.
And then the motorcycle
The
accident.
settlement, you mean?
Yeah, money. A car. Sadly, yes. A critical role in what was to come.
The escalation.
He starts picking up hitchhikers. Female hitchhikers.
At first, he lets them go.
Testing the waters, I guess.
Desensitizing himself.
Chilling to think about it.
That gradual descent into the abyss.
Evil doesn't always announce itself, does it?
Sometimes it creeps in, slowly, almost imperceptibly.
Marianne Pesce and Anita Lucchesa.
College students.
Hitchhiking to Stanford.
He lured them, secluded area.
Killed them. Brought them back to his apartment.
Unspeakable acts, the terror they must have felt.
It's hard to even imagine.
He photographed them, had sexual intercourse with their corpses.
Before dismembering them.
Complete dehumanization.
Like they were objects.
To control.
That need for control.
Power over life and death.
A terrifying driving force. And it was just the beginning. Rosalind Thorpe? Alice Liu?
More victims?
He shot them, took their bodies back to his mother's house.
Like a ritual. Horrifying ritual.
His mother's house? The epicenter.
Twisted tableau. Meant to shock.
He called their heads trophies. Trophies. Like he thought he was taking their essence. By taking their head.
Distorted thinking. A serial killer's mind.
Power. Control. Extending beyond death.
A terrifying concept.
The terror they must have felt. Helpless.
At the mercy of someone so dark.
We can't forget that. The human cost.
Real people, hopes, dreams, loved ones left behind.
Daughters, friends, students, their whole lives ahead of them.
We need to remember that. The ripple effects of violence.
Absolutely.
We have to do more. Understand these things. Address the root causes. Identify those at risk.
Intervene. before it's too late.
Exactly.
6 young women, but it didn't end there.
His mother
And
and her friend, Sally Hallett.
the final victims.
The culmination of years of rage, resentment. Remember their relationship?
Toxic.
He moved back in with her.
The constant conflict.
Trapped.
Yeah.
Suffocated.
Reached a boiling point.
Heated argument.
He waited until she fell asleep.
A hammer bludgeoned her to death.
His own mother.
Familial bonds. Twisted. Broken. Unresolved anger. Deep psychological issue. Horrifying.
What happened next even more so?
He decapitated her.
Humiliation. Acts of humiliation with her corpse.
Too graphic to describe.
The rage. The hatred. Beyond comprehension.
Obliterate her. Erase her. The pain she caused.
Even in death, she held power over him.
Fueling the rage.
Then, Sally Hallett, her friend,
Invited her over.
strangled her.
Eliminate anyone who reminded him of his mother. Of that relationship.
Disturbing. So disturbing.
His state of mind. What was he thinking? Pure rage. Severing ties. Something darker.
It haunts you, doesn't it?
Criminologists. Psychologists. For years.
How could someone do that? To their own mother, than another innocent person.
And then he turns himself in,
Yeah.
expecting a manhunt.
Days of silence.
He calls the police. Confesses.
Yeah.
Everything. Contrition. Guilt.
Remorse.
Or notoriety. Control the narrative.
What motivates a serial killer to confess?
Redemption. A power play. Manipulation.
We may never know for sure.
A window into his mind, though.
Information. Crimes. Motives. Twisted logic. The trial. Straightforward.
He confessed after all.
Not guilty by reason of insanity.
His lawyer's strategy.
He took the stand, tried to convince the jury.
He wasn't in control.
Didn't work.
Sane, guilty, all counts.
He asked for the death penalty.
Escape his own mind, maybe.
California. Death penalty suspended.
8 life sentences. Concurrent.
Prison. Model prisoner. Helping out.
Mm.
Programs. Self-control. Remorse.
Unsettling, isn't it? The juxtaposition.
Intelligent. Cooperative. Remorseful. Yet responsible for such brutality.
Interviews. Over the years.
Chilling detail. Self-awareness.
Valuable information. Law enforcement. Researchers.
Psychology is serial killers. He's a reluctant expert.
On his own darkness.
The strange paradox.
Making amends. In a twisted way.
Using his knowledge to shed light.
On the minds of other potential killers.
His mother. He blames her.
Psychological torment.
Constant belittling, emotional abuse, created the monster.
The impact of childhood trauma, no doubt played a role.
But he is responsible for his actions.
Accountability.
Choices. Regardless of past experiences.
A delicate balance.
Trauma. Actions.
Especially difficult in this case.
High IQ. Horrific crimes. Calm demeanor. Complicated picture.
Fascinating. Disturbing. Challenges us.
Their darkest aspects of human nature.
Intelligent, well-spoken individuals.
Capable of unimaginable cruelty.
A terrifying puzzle piecing together the fragments.
It's a mystery.
Darkness at the core. We may never fully comprehend.
The unsettling reality.
More questions than answers.
The uncertainty. The unease.
Eligible for parole multiple times.
Denied. Each time.
Society isn't ready.
Can you blame them?
The brutality, the trauma, the victims' families.
Hard to argue for his release, regardless of his behavior in prison.
A complex ethical dilemma.
Rehabilitation, protection, severity of the crimes.
Public safety.
He remains a danger, even after all these years.
A difficult decision.
Profound, lasting impact.
Some wounds never heal.
Consequences of violence reverberate for generations.
Prevent such violence. Address the root causes. Create a better society.
Decades of good behavior.
Right.
Still too dangerous.
Unsettling. Right.
It is. Everything makes you think about the lasting impact of his crimes. But, you know, there's this weird irony.
Oh.
He's helped law enforcement understand serial killers a
Oh,
lot.
Because he talks? The interviews?
Exactly. Disturbing as they are, incredibly valuable.
Criminal profiling, motivations, thought processes, violent offenders.
He's contributed to the very field that, well,
Tries to prevent these crimes.
yeah, a real paradox.
It is darkness.
Yeah.
And yet, introspection.
A desire to find meaning, purpose, after all that.
Making amends. In some twisted way.
Maybe.
So we're wrapping up.
The deep dive. Edmund Kemper.
Key takeaways
Yeah.
for our listeners. What are they?
Early intervention. It's crucial.
Red flags. His childhood, remember.
Cruelty to animals.
Oh.
Morbid fantasies. Family dynamics. Troubled
And
family.
warning signs, if recognized, addressed.
Could have changed everything.
We need to be more vigilant as a society. Recognizing these signs.
Support. for those who are struck
The
down.
safety net, potential victims, and potential perpetrators.
It's not just about punishment.
Prevention, too.
Understanding the factors
Yeah.
that contribute to violence.
Creating a society where individuals have resources, support, healthier choices.
Kemper's case.
Yeah.
Challenge. Understanding. Treating. Personality disorders.
Severe personality disorders.
High IQ.
Functionality.
Deep-seated issues. Devastating consequences.
A journey into darkness. This deep dive.
Confronting evil. Fragility of the human psyche.
The impact of violence.
A lot to process.
Hope, resilience, human connection.
For every story of darkness.
Countless stories of light.
Overcoming adversity, healing, compassion, understanding.
Explore these stories. Seek out the light. Never lose sight the goodness within us all.
One last thought. Horrifying realities. There's hope, too.
There is.
Ongoing efforts. Understanding. Preventing these tragedies. Learning from the past.
Supporting those who struggle.
Working together. A more just world. A more compassionate world. Stories like Kemper's.
Relics of a darker time. A time we've learned from. Moved beyond.
We hope